Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is sure to be back on consoles soon. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 Spider-Man PS4 sequel predictions. Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at what might be upcoming in a potential sequel for Insomniac's 2018 Spider-Man game. Be warned, spoilers lie ahead.
You know, you can always stay at my place. Only if you want to.
Number 10, Fisk Is Paroled.
Writing your memoirs? Don't forget the hyphen between spider and man.
Get the chopper ready. I won't be long.
While being an important player in the first act of the game's story, Fisk disappears from the limelight as the Sinister Six take form. But his return could be welcome in a sequel. His wealth and resources, as well as the undeniable chaos New York was flung into without him, means it would be easy for him to bankroll his way out of the raft, bribe his parole officer, and start running his rackets again. And since we saw a mass outbreak from the raft this time around, seeing him paroled would be much more interesting.
1 month! In 1 month you'll wish you had me back!
Number 9, bigger map. The sprawling area of Manhattan we got to play through is definitely no small map, but a sequel offers enormous potential for expansion. If no sequel hits consoles until the PlayStation 5 in a few years' time, the hardware could provide us with one of the most detailed recreations of New York in its entirety ever seen in a video game. We could see all the different islands and boroughs of the Big Apple, opening the game up to even more side content and missions, therefore extending its length. There's nobody who won't want to experience more of this beautiful city.
Did that just happen? Yeah.
Number 8, Taskmaster's team.
Surprise me if you can.
One side mission saw Spider-Man undertaking various challenges set by the formidable Taskmaster, and while the two do come to blows more than once, it's never actually revealed who sent Taskmaster after Peter to begin with, though he says he was paid a lot of money for his trouble.
Your loss. They pay 6 figures.
Taskmaster's teamed up with any number of shadowy organizations in his time, but a collaboration with advanced ideas mechanics seems most likely. Not just because AIM easily have the means and the motivation to want to get rid of Spider-Man, but also because it was hinted at that they're the ones who started funding Doc Ock's research.
An organization hired me to see if you're worth recruiting.
I'd rather be Jonah Jameson's foot masseur than work for anyone who'd hire you.
Number 7, Sandman.
Looking for this, webhead?
Last seen as a formidable enemy in Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, a return of Sandman to mainstream video games would be welcome. Always a high threat thanks to his shape-shifting capabilities, playing against him on the hardware of the PS4 or even the PS5 would be phenomenal. After already expanding his powers into new territory in Shattered Dimensions, Insomniac would certainly be challenged to make one of the most interesting boss fights in a modern game. As one of the more well-known Spider-Man villains, he's a shoo-in for a Spider-Man sequel. Number 6, Mysterio.
I am Mysterio, and I am putting Spider-Man on notice.
This master of illusion has been a hot topic of conversation in 2018, as it's rumored that Jake Gyllenhaal will play Mysterio in the upcoming Spider-Man Far From Home. He was also the main villain in Shattered Dimensions, meaning he's a name everybody knows and is sure to attract attention.
No! No, stop! I'll give you the tablet. I'll give you anything you want. Don't!
However, his high popularity may also persuade Insomniac to stay away from using him too much in a second game, wanting instead to reimagine the Marvel Universe as they see fit. If they do a trilogy, however, Mysterio is an easy pick for a third game, putting some distance between Far From Home and allowing the character to really shine.
I should have guessed. He's just another one of your illusions, isn't he?
You're the fake.
Number 5, more Marvel heroes. Spider-Man PS4 was overflowing with Easter eggs of the entire Marvel universe, with most of them making up landmarks and hidden photo ops Spidey finds as he swings through the city. With an Avengers game already in development by Crystal Dynamics, many are hoping for other superheroes to make an appearance in a sequel. The Avengers definitely can't stay on the West Coast forever, after all, and we already saw there's a Wakandan embassy in New York. It would at least make sense for Daredevil to have a cameo as Hell's Kitchen flagship hero, though the licensing issues Insomniac and Sony would face may be a deadlier foe than any of Spider-Man's villains. Number 4. Yuri becomes Wraith.
Now that you quit smoking, what do you tell people when you come up here?
That I need a break from their crap.
Fair enough.
We've already gotten to know Yuri Wanatabe as Peter's eyes and ears in the NYPD, but she's got a vigilante origin story all of her own, ripe for the picking. In the comics, Yuri, frustrated by the police's ineptitude at battling Mr. Negative, takes on the mantle of Wraith and goes after him herself. Ruthless and deadly, Wraith and Spider-Man aren't initially the best of friends, but helping a friend on the path to becoming a righteous superhero would be an awesome story arc for Insomniac to use.
Maybe. We'll figure it out later. Right now we need to get the towers back online. Fast.
And you called me? Aw, that's sweet.
Mr. Negative may have been defeated already, but there's still lots of potential for Yuri in future titles.
But you love me, right, Yuri?
I tolerate you.
Number 3. Miles Morales.
Yo, Miles. Hey, fanboy.
It's great to see Miles Morales finally getting recognition outside of the comics. First with Spider-Man, but later with the animated movie Into the Spider-Verse. After we saw him bitten by one of Oscorp's trademark radioactive spiders, he develops his powers and is sure to be a major part of Insomniac's second wind.
No.
It may feature dual protagonists with 2 different Spider-Men, or Miles taking on the moniker of Kid Arachnid, as Peter trains him in the use of his powers. Since he was already playable in the stealth segments of this game, it's highly likely this trend will continue with epic results.
Not that weird.
Number 2. Green Goblins. Norman Osborn was already a main character in Spider-Man, responsible in part for creating the game's 2 most formidable villains, Dr. Octopus and Mr. Negative. Seeing him finally take on the mantle of Spider-Man's most famous villain, the Green Goblin is definitely on the list of things Insomniac might do next.
It's the combat prototype from the schematic.
It's easy to see why they would want to stay away from the Goblin in their first game, since he's shown up in so many movies. But being terrorized by the Sinister Six is more than enough to motivate him to engineer the Goblin Serum and fall prey to his own insanity.
Peter, when you said Spider-Man said no, you meant you said no.
Number 1. Harry as Venom.
But this... can't wait.
In typical Marvel fashion, Spider-Man PS4 featured a post-credit teaser where we see Norman Osborn talking to his dying son Harry. Harry is trapped in a green containment tank and is surrounded by what looks distinctly like the alien symbiote.
I will find a cure. I will.
Harry making a return as Venom would be a great way for the sequel to go, especially if this contributes to his father's transformation into the Green Goblin. With Tom Hardy's standalone Venom movie making waves, it only makes sense that Insomniac would want to show us their take on this symbiote story.
I love you, son.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.